U.S. economy shows moderate job growth. The U.S. economy reported a steady rise in employment numbers this month, reflecting continued recovery in key sectors such as healthcare, logistics, and technology. Analysts note that while job growth has slowed compared to the rapid gains seen during post-pandemic reopening phases, the expansion remains consistent and stable. Small businesses in several regions reported difficulty finding enough workers, contributing to upward pressure on wages in certain fields. Government officials stated that sustained job creation signals underlying market resilience, even as inflation remains a concern for both policymakers and households. The Federal Reserve continues to monitor wage growth and consumer spending trends before making further decisions on interest rates. Economists say the coming months will be crucial in determining whether the job market moves towards stabilization or experiences a slowdown. Despite mixed signals in different industries, the current figures indicate continued momentum in the labor market. Canada launches National Housing Affordability Initiative. The Canadian government has unveiled a nationwide initiative designed to address rising housing costs and expand access to affordable homes. The program includes increased federal funding for community housing projects, tax incentives for builders, and measures to streamline construction approvals in high-demand urban centers. Officials emphasize the need for long-term solutions to ensure younger families, students, and low-income individuals can obtain secure housing. Critics argue that improving affordability will require not only new construction, but also regulatory reforms and stronger protections against speculative property investments. Supporters of the initiative say collaboration between provincial governments, municipalities, and private developers will be essential for success. Housing advocates welcome the announcement, but urge the government to ensure transparency and accountability in distributing funds. The initiative aims to create thousands of units over the next several years, while stabilizing market pressures across major cities, such as Toronto and Vancouver. U.S. Midwest faces severe storm systems. Communities across the U.S. Midwest are preparing for heavy thunderstorms, high winds, and potential flash flooding as meteorologists warn of an incoming severe weather system. Emergency response teams have advised residents to secure outdoor items, review local evacuation plans, and stay aware of radar updates. Several counties have already issued flood advisories as rivers and streams rise from earlier rainfall. Local officials emphasize that preparedness is key to minimizing risk, especially for rural areas with fewer emergency resources. Power companies are bracing for outages caused by falling tree limbs and lightning strikes. Transportation agencies have also warned drivers to avoid flooded roadways and be cautious during periods of low visibility. While the storm system is expected to pass within a few days, meteorologists caution that additional severe weather could follow as seasonal temperature patterns fluctuate across the region. Canada-U.S. border security talks resume in Ottawa. Diplomatic delegations from Canada and the United States met in Ottawa this week to discuss border security coordination, supply chain efficiency, and migrant processing guidelines. Both governments highlighted the importance of maintaining secure borders while also ensuring smooth trade and travel between the two countries. Officials say the discussions focused on strengthening data-sharing practices and improving screening technology at key checkpoints. The talks come amid continued concerns about irregular crossings and delays in commercial transportation. Representatives from both sides expressed optimism that collaboration will lead to practical solutions that balance security and economic priorities. Industry groups are closely watching the negotiations, noting that cross-border commerce plays a crucial role in manufacturing, agriculture, and energy sectors. Further meetings are expected over the coming months as both nations work toward updated bilateral agreements.
Major tech firm announces new data center expansion in Texas. A leading technology corporation has announced plans to expand its data center operations in Texas, citing increased demand for cloud computing infrastructure and enterprise-level digital services. The multi-billion-dollar project is expected to create hundreds of construction jobs and dozens of permanent technical roles. Company representatives stated that the new facilities will incorporate advanced energy-efficient cooling systems and renewable power sources to reduce environmental impact. Local officials welcome the investment, noting that it aligns with regional initiatives promoting high-tech industry growth. Economic analysts say the expansion could attract additional tech firms to the area, strengthening the state's position as a technology hub. However, some environmental groups have raised concerns about resource consumption associated with large data centers. The company has responded by asserting its commitment to sustainability and transparency in long-term environmental planning. Canadian wildfire recovery efforts continue in British Columbia. Communities in British Columbia continue to rebuild following extensive wildfire damage earlier this year. Provincial authorities, local volunteers, and national emergency organizations are working together to restore essential services such as power, water, and transportation access. Environmental experts are also assessing damaged ecosystems to determine the long-term impact on forests and wildlife habitats. Residents who lost homes and businesses have begun applying for recovery grants and assistance programs. While many are hopeful, challenges remain, including limited construction labor, rising material costs, and the emotional toll of displacement. Government officials emphasize that improving wildfire preparedness strategies, including controlled burns, infrastructure planning, and early detection, will be a priority moving forward. Despite the hardships, local communities have demonstrated strong solidarity, organizing support networks, and rebuilding efforts to help one another recover. U.S. Education Department proposes student loan relief adjustments. The U.S. Department of Education has proposed new adjustments to existing student loan relief programs, aiming to simplify eligibility requirements and expand access for borrowers facing financial hardship. The proposal seeks to streamline application procedures and reduce bureaucratic barriers that have historically prevented qualified individuals from benefiting from relief measures. Advocates for student debt reform welcome the proposal, arguing that student loan burdens continue to affect career choices, family planning, and economic mobility among young adults. However, critics warn that further loan forgiveness measures could place additional strain on federal budgets. The Education Department states that its goal is to create a fairer and more efficient repayment framework. Public commentary and policy review sessions are scheduled to continue before final decisions are implemented.
Canada strengthens Indigenous language revitalization programs. The Canadian government has announced expanded funding and educational initiatives to support Indigenous language revitalization efforts across the country. The programs include community-based language instruction, digital learning platforms, and partnerships with cultural organizations to preserve linguistic heritage. Elders and educators emphasize that language is deeply tied to identity, cultural continuity, and intergenerational knowledge. Some Indigenous leaders express cautious optimism, noting that previous initiatives were often underfunded or short-lived. They stress the importance of sustained, long-term support to ensure success. Educational institutions are exploring ways to incorporate Indigenous language curriculum into public schools, particularly in regions with strong Indigenous cultural presence. The government has reaffirmed its commitment to reconciliation efforts and cultural preservation. U.S. healthcare policy debate intensifies in Congress. Lawmakers in the U.S. Congress are engaged in renewed debate over healthcare policy reforms, including prescription drug pricing, insurance coverage, and funding for public health programs. Supporters of expanded healthcare access argue that rising medical costs continue to burden families and strain hospital systems. Opponents caution against sweeping reforms that could increase government spending and regulatory oversight. Public health experts warn that continued political gridlock could undermine efforts to address ongoing challenges in primary care access and mental health services. The outcome of the debate may influence future national elections, with healthcare consistently ranking among voters' top priorities. Congressional committees are expected to review proposals over the coming weeks, with votes likely later this year. Cross-border trade reaches new record between U.S. and Canada. Recent economic reports highlight that cross-border trade between the United States and Canada has reached record levels, driven by strong demand in manufacturing, agriculture, and energy sectors. Businesses in both countries have benefited from stable supply chains and renewed cooperation, following earlier pandemic disruptions. Industry analysts say that continued collaboration will be crucial to maintaining growth, especially as global markets face uncertainties related to inflation, currency fluctuations, and shifting geopolitical priorities. Trade organizations and logistics companies are working on improving transportation infrastructure along key rail and trucking corridors to support increased commercial activity. Both governments reaffirmed their commitment to fostering open and efficient trade relations, recognizing the vital economic ties shared between the two nations.
Welcome to the Mohibban Channel America, where we explore diverse cultures, share unique stories, celebrate the rich tapestry, and daily breaking news updates. Join us as we embark on a journey through vibrant neighborhoods, discovering local traditions and meeting inspiring individuals along the way. Meet the dreamers and doers in our series. We also dive into the fascinating history that has woven the fabric of American society and the world, revealing untold stories that deserve to be heard. Subscribe to the Mohibban Channel America for videos that enlighten, entertain, and inspire. Your perspective matters, and we encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's create a platform for dialogue, learning, and connection, where everyone feels welcome and valued. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We can't wait to share more amazing stories with you. Stay tuned, and let's spread love, understanding, and positivity through every episode. Welcome to the adventure, and welcome to the Mohibban Channel America.